everyone. Welcome back to Go Call Your Sister. We are a day late, but that's okay because it's May.
And it's our show, so we can post whenever we feel like it.
That's so true. I'm just in the best mood because it's literally May. Like, war is over. We made it through April. I just want to say that, like, historically, April kicks my ass every year. Like, if I ran you through what has happened to me, I think I told you about this, Allie. Like, everything that has happened to me in the month of April in the past, like, 5 years, it's not a good month for me. So I woke up today on May 1st and I was like, holy shit, thank you, God. We made it through April and now we're in May.
We should insert your face into that Justin Timberlake meme. It's going to be May.
It's gonna be May. Dun, dun. Like, thank you, Lord. Like, my
I
energy is
didn't
so much
know that
better.
you were such an April hater. Honestly, I
I'm
don't
an April
remember
hater.
what has happened to you in the month of April. I don't think we've ever discussed.
So, okay, I'm just gonna start from like high school. April 1st, when I turned 16, I totaled my car 1 month
Mhm.
after my birthday. And I think the theory for me is that March is my birthday month and it's just like such a good month for me. And my vibe is so high that like April humbles me every year after, that energy high. Totaled my car. I got COVID on April 1st. I was like the first person in Mississippi to get COVID. I was actually number six. If you guys remember that in 2020. Um, well, there was a couple other things. Last year on April 1st, I went through a breakup. Horrible. What
Did you get
else?
canceled in April?
No, I got canceled in July. So that didn't happen in April. I don't know, just like historically, the month of April is tough for me. Like it's just, you know, it's not a good time. And I want to say this with being aware that like I know I just went to Belize and had an amazing trip and that happened in April. But like this April for me kicked me hard. Like it kicked my
Yeah.
ass. And I just spent a lot of April just not in a good headspace. And it just solidified that like April's not for me. So
Well, I think that you can enlighten our listeners about some of the things that happened in April when you're good and ready. You don't have to now, but I agree. It was a toughie for you for sure.
yeah, it was a toughie. Still processing some things that happened to me in April. I will go into it. I hate being that person that's like, I'm going through something, but I'm not going to tell you about it. Cause like, and that's why I struggle with social media is that like, I want to be authentic and tell you guys what I'm going through and what's up. But then I also need to do it at a time where like I feel emotionally ready and processed. And then I can share about it because I honestly think it's more helpful for me to share about things when I'm on the other side of it rather than being like, I'm in the trenches, help. Like, cause I can give you no insight on how I got through it, you know?
What is that annoying thing people post, like prayer requests, not or like we always talk about how much we hate it.
People
That's
on Facebook are
you.
like, people on Facebook literally, like, I really only have Facebook these days for comic relief and the fact that like Instagram has to be run through Meta or else I would have deleted that account long ago. But people on Facebook, especially from the South, are like, everyone, please pray for my family. Prayers accepted. Please, please pray. I want to be in the comments like, okay, but what am I praying for? Like, what am I like? I'm so nosy,
Well, you are
and
those people.
yeah, I'm just the nosiest person, so I know that it's annoying when people are like that. But yeah, I will shed light on my April when I get in the right headspace because I want to be able to offer like insight and also like how I got through it. And I'm still like not quite there, but doing tremendously better than I was a couple weeks ago. And I feel like a lot of that is because I made it through April and now it's May.
Well, there were also some good things that happened in April. Like you said, you
Yeah,
went to
no,
Belize,
totally. I'm saying that with the self awareness that, like, I know I just went to Belize because I know people are gonna be like, bitch, what are you talking about? Like, you've had a great April. Like, yeah, like, there's really good parts and really bad parts of every month, honestly.
Yes, 1,000%. I think it's good to have some self-awareness, but, also acknowledge how you feel.
Have you ever heard of April theory by chance?
No, I have not.
So I've been really invested in this because now that I've picked up on this trend of like April not being a good month for me, and I apologize if your birthday's in April because, it's not for everyone. Like some people probably love April.
I love
I
April.
don't.
I'm an April
Yeah,
lover.
great. I'm an April hater. And the April theory is that so astrologically, the new year doesn't kick off until April. And it's like that in a lot of cultures and also different religions. Like I know as a society, we're like January 1st, let's go. But like energetically and in astrology, it actually doesn't kick off until April. And it's a time of the month or a time of the year where things are really heavy because a lot of things are changing. And there's a lot of energy of like shifts and new beginnings and starting over and new people coming into your life and people leaving your life. And so I think that that plays a big role into why April could be a hard month for some, including myself.
Goldie has entered the chat. Yeah, well, I feel that honestly because one, it's crazy that we're almost halfway through the year. Like, where did that go? But also, like, the energy in January and February is very like subdued. Like, there's not much going on. You're kind of in hibernation mode. And then you really start to emerge in like March, April. So I agree. I think the new year should kick off in April.
Yeah. So I just want everyone to keep that in mind if you have like been thinking to yourself lately, like, holy shit, what's happening in my life? It's just the new year. So don't worry. We're moving through it.
Yeah. Happy New Year, Bird.
Happy New Year, Allie. Happy New Year, everyone.
So lots to catch up on. So what direction do you want to go? I'll let you lead the ship.
Okay. So like I mentioned, I just got back from Belize and that trip was literally incredible. It was such a reset for me. It was very healing. It really helped, it helped me have some grace for April because it was a great end to the month for me. We stayed at Perry's family's house in Placencia, Belize, and it was just like such a all around amazing trip. It's a good trip when it goes by like in the blink of an eye. Like we got back to LAX and I was like, I was literally just here. Like, how did that happen? But I would say like I'll just touch on like the highlight of my trip, which was we did an overnight boat charter with a company called Nautical Adventures. And I had never spent the night on a boat before. And so we did like 2 full days on the boat in one night. And it was just magical because it was one of the first times in my life I have been somewhere with like absolutely no phone service and no ability to contact anyone. Like, wasn't getting messages, wasn't getting emails. I just completely checked out for 48 hours. And it was truly one of the best things that I could have ever done because, people are always like, take a social media break.
I just want to jump in there as your boss slash business partner. Not super great for me, but really glad you enjoyed that for your
No,
mental
but
health.
I set it up like where it
Yeah,
was,
you
other
did.
than like things that came up that we couldn't control, like people
Yeah.
needing stuff last minute. I really did set it up where like I was primed to like leave the earth for 48 hours.
Yeah, you did a good job.
Thank you. And yeah, like, it's annoying because people are always like, you know what you need to do? Like, take a social media break. And I'm like, that's so sick, but I can't because it's my literal job. Like, I would love to take like, even mom and dad are like, sweetie, why don't you just like take some time to detach from your phone? I'm like, I literally can't. Like, the show has to go on. But for those 2 days, I was just like in bliss and happiness and joy. And it was incredible. So that was the best part of my trip. We got back on Saturday and now I'm just adjusting back to the real world. And
I do
I
think
did do
that is
some
interesting because, I feel like these days, literally everyone wants to be an influencer. Like kids are probably writing that on their like, what do you want to be when you grow up papers. But also, like, you have to realize that if that's your job, like, you cannot just get off. Like, it's a nonstop thing. And then, like, how do you transition from that into, wanting to do something else? You have to figure out a way to kind of like cut the ties.
Yeah, no, it's crazy. Like I even felt behind like when I wasn't sharing stories because like my job is to keep people like in as real time as I can that's like safe for me to do so of what I'm doing. And I don't know, it was just a good like break and I want to try to do that more often where I kind of like go off the grid for like a day or two. And I just really enjoyed it.
I think it's important to take a break, even if it is your job. And do you think, question now that I'm just like thinking about it, do you think like influencing and being an influencer has shaped your personality?
That's a really good question. I think that, obviously I've had things happen to me like getting canceled, which has really changed me as a person. Which we honestly should do a podcast about that sometime because we never really talk about it. We kind of mention it, but if you guys don't know what I'm talking about, you're probably like, what? Um, It's really funny because I will be like looking up, like trying to find my Instagram name. So I'm like typing in my name on Google and it's like Sarah Caroline Bridgers canceled Reddit. But there's nothing on Reddit about it because I don't think Reddit was like really going on when I got canceled. So I feel like people really don't know about it. But I do think that there's events that have happened to me that have shaped like my personality. And I don't know. It's kind of funny because like I view social media as like almost like a character that I play. Like I have like that side of me that I share and people see. And then there's like another side of me. It's like Hannah Montana. Like there's Hannah Montana and there's Miley. And when I'm like not on social media, I feel like I'm different than what people expect. Does that make
Yeah.
sense?
Yeah, totally. I was actually having this conversation with someone the other day about just like influencers in general. And like, I think that it's hard. Like you said, it's a personality. It's kind of like a facade in a way because that becomes like a persona. And like, how do you differentiate that? And like, that's difficult. And then also just like, kind of like realizing that because you are the main character on your Instagram and your social media, and like, how do you not become egotistical in real life? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
how
I
do you
just think you
separate
get
that?
repetitively humbled every day, like by hate comments and things of that nature. But also, I think it's just like being grounded and being a sane, normal person.
Yeah.
Um, I someone asked me this on Sunday. They were like, "Do people ever recognize you in public?" And it's funny because yes, like it happens a lot in Mississippi, or if I'm like anywhere in the South, because that's like where my audience is heavier. And then like when I was in Hawaii, but California doesn't happen as much. It's happened like a handful of times and I'm so awkward when it happens. Like it's not that I'm awkward that they came up to me and said something, like I'm so happy that they did, but it's hard because you portray this person online and then I get worried that like people will like interact with me on like a day where I'm just not like my best and then they'll go back and say I met Sarkar, she was a bitch. And it's like, no, I
Yeah.
wasn't a bitch. Like, I'm so anxious right now, or I'm so tired because I've met girls at influencer events a lot where I like leave and I tell my friends, like, oh my gosh, I met so and so, and they're nothing like you would expect. But it's like they could have also just been having an off day.
Yeah. You have to have grace.
Yeah. But anyways, circling back, Belize was amazing. And I have been having the post trip blues astronomically to the point where on the day I got home, I booked a flight to Hawaii. So I'm going to Hawaii at the end of for a good part of May after I come home for our cousin's graduation next week. And I just want to say, like, to the state of California, I'm really traumatized by May Gray last year, severely. And if you haven't heard of May Gray, it's essentially a time of the year, which is obviously in May in California, where it just is really gloomy.
Yeah.
And it was so bad for my mental last year that I have made the executive decision to just like eject from the state for as much of this month as possible.
Well, we are actually heading to California in May, so fingers crossed it won't be as bad as last year. We are dropping sweet little Goldie Girl off and jetting off to Malibu for 2 weeks, which I am very excited about. And honestly, like I kind of like moody California. Like I love the sun and all of that, but I don't mind like a hazy California. So I'm looking forward to that. But yeah, I
Yeah, no,
totally
I
agree.
think everyone said that last year was like historically the worst spring that California's ever had. So like I do have faith that like even today it's a perfectly sunny day. I have faith that it'll be beautiful and I'm excited that I will get to see you and Mario a little bit while you're here. But it just like aligned really perfectly. The opportunity was presented for me to stay in Hawaii in a place that I love in this house because a room was open and I just took it and I found like an amazing flight. I literally got on Google Flights and I was like, if I can find a flight that's under like X amount, I'm going to book it right now. And that's what I did.
There you go. You're in a season of travel.
Mm-hmm.
Can't keep her down for too long.
Mm-mm. Like at all. And it's just so funny because, yeah, I just like love ejecting and I love being on the go. And it might be a toxic trait, but like when I get back from a trip, I like almost immediately have to plan another one just so I have like something to look forward to.
Well, we were also on the road, not as exciting as Belize this past weekend, but we were in Oxford. We went home for double decker. We drove down. I drove down by myself with Goldie and picked Mario up at the Memphis airport. He was working. But I did have the chance to listen to the new Taylor album all the way through on my drive. So, what are your thoughts? Have you listened to it yet?
I've listened like here and there because it came out, I think, the day that we left for Belize. So I wasn't, honestly, I should have just downloaded it and listened through it on the plane. But there's a lot of songs. Like it's honestly kind of overwhelming. Like I'm more of a music.
It's a daunting task for sure. But and I think that you have to listen to it like 3 times all the way through to like
Mhm.
really kind of get an opinion or really to like form an opinion. But some of the songs sound really like the same and I didn't love that. I like the first half of the album better than the second. I mean, there's like 31 songs, so it's a time commitment.
I'm more of a music consumer. Like I hear the trending ones on TikTok and then I go listen. Like I don't really try to dive in. I let like the crowd tell me what's good and then I listen to that. I don't know if that's a good thing or
I
not.
really like The Alchemy. Some people hate it, but I love it. It's like it's about Travis. And I am
Mm.
a Travis and Taylor stan, so really like that one. I really like Who's Afraid of Little Old Me. I like But Daddy, I Love Him. Those are probably like the strongest 3 to me. But yeah, let me
I
know.
think my favorite is I Can Do It With a Broken Heart.
Oh yeah, I like that one. Oh, and I like
Um,
Down Bad as well. That one's good too.
yeah. I love
Crying
the
in the Sun.
quote, like, I cry so much, but I'm so productive. Like, I've never heard something that describes me better. Like, I cry so much, but I really am one of the most productive people that I know. And like, she's basically talking about, like, I can do everything that people are doing with a broken heart mood. Like, I can have a whole emotional breakdown and still accomplish a lot in my day.
Yeah, that one's really catchy. I like that. So yeah, I did the drive, was grateful for the chance to like really dive in and listen. And yeah, so mom convinced me to do the double decker 5K with her. And that, if you're not familiar, it's a big arts and music festival in Oxford. I haven't been back for that in a while, and I've never actually done the double decker run they do on Saturday morning of the festival. And mom was like, we'll walk it. Like, it'll just be fun. We can stroll, do it together. And I hadn't run in probably 6 months. I'm just like not on the running train right now. So I was like, okay, fine, we'll do it. And we're walking out that morning, and mom is like, oh, or I asked mom, should I bring my AirPods to listen to music? And she was like, absolutely not. Like, we're going to talk the whole time. Like, do not. You don't need that. And so I'm like, okay, cool. We start the run and we are not running for 5 minutes before mom sprints. She and dad just like take off. And I'm stuck there with no music, no one to talk to. But it was nice because I was able to do it like at my own pace and I finished it and it was so freaking hilly. So I'm glad I wasn't trying to like keep up with them. But mom just like took off, did not look back, was not concerned about where I was. Like it was just the funniest thing.
How long was this race? What kind of
It was a
race was it?
5K.
Okay, yeah. If you guys hadn't seen this, our mom also placed. Like that's how fast she ran away from you. She got second in her age group.
She
Um,
did. She
so
literally just took off and I was like, "Wait, what? What happened?" Like I thought we were running and leisurely like talking, you know?
no, she went in with the intentions to like medal, and you went in with the intentions of like a nice stroll, and you guys were on the
But
same
I
page.
do think that it showed personal growth on my end because I was able to just like let it roll off and just take it at my own pace, enjoy it. I walked up the hills. Like I had a lovely time on my own.
Meanwhile, mom's the front of the line, like elbowing people, like get the fuck out of my way. I'm going for a place here.
I know, and she and dad were so sore, and I was not. I actually didn't feel it at all. So that probably says a lot about how much energy I exerted in the whole thing.
Yeah,
Um,
that's
but
we did a workout in Belize. We thought it'd be a good idea one morning to do a 6 a.m. sunrise yoga class. And you know, when
mm,
you're on vacation, like I'm not someone who likes to work out on vacation. You are, but
yeah,
I'm not. And so we were like, oh, it'll be good. Like we'll get some flow, some energy. We literally like were zombies. Like Claire had to leave the class. I was in Shavasana the entire time. I fell asleep at the end, and then we went back into our rooms and got back in our bed, and I slept until 9:30. Like, so props to you guys for getting active because I was doing none of that.
Yeah. But it was a big weekend. It was fun to be home. We took Goldie to meet her cousins, Dolly and Honey. So that was really cute to see them play together. And what else happened while we were there? Oh, I think like all in all, it was a good weekend, but my social battery was super drained at the end of it all. Like I just like wanted to talk to no one after.
Mm-hmm.
I think just
Oh
like
yeah.
seeing people that like I'm not even like friends with, but just like acquaintances with or like family friends with. And it's just a lot of like surface conversation. You know what I mean?
Yeah, being in Oxford honestly drains my social battery more than any other place, which I love it and it's our hometown and I love being there. But when I go home, I truly am like a recluse as much as I can be
Same.
because everywhere you go, you run into like 100 people and it's like never the 100 you want to see. It's like the 100 that you like really haven't thought of and don't really care to talk to. And it's draining because when I'm in San Diego, I bebop around. I don't really ever see anyone that I know. Like I don't have to go to the
Yeah.
grocery store and have 30 conversations. So I can't
Right.
imagine the drain double
Well,
decker would
it's
have.
not even like people that I don't want to see. Like, I think that there are people that you run into and you're like, oh, like great catching up. And then it's kind of like rinse and repeat conversation, but it's just so draining. And then also, like, there should be an expiration time of how long that conversation should last. Like, it doesn't need to go into something that it's not. Like, it's just quick catch up. How's it going? Move on. Like Mario was making fun of me because at the end of it all, like I was having this one conversation and we were like in the same place. Like neither of us was leaving this place. And the conversation had run its course. Like it was a great conversation. We caught up on everything. It's someone that I'm not close with at all. Like, friends of the family, whatever. And so we're talking, we've covered all the bases, great conversation. And then like when I'm done, I'm done. And like I've always been that way. Like you can see it, you can read it, like it's very obvious. And so I look over at Mario and Mario's watching this whole thing play out and he just thinks it's hilarious because he knows me so well. And I'm sure you've experienced this with me as has, the rest of our family. But I was like, okay, great. Good to see you. Just like, giving the invitation to walk away and like be done with it. Like we don't have to continue. This has been great. Let's end it on a high note. And we both just continue standing there. But like I was standing with mom and dad and Mario. So like the invitation was open for that person to kind of like walk away and move on. And they didn't. And so I'm just like, good to see you. And no one's leaving. And it's so awkward. And so I like turned around and I didn't want to have to like make up a lie like I have to go to the bathroom because it was such a bitch to get to the bathroom and I didn't have to go and I didn't want to have to just go stand in line when I actually didn't have to go to the bathroom. So I'm just standing there and I turn to Mario and I'm like, this is Mario. And I'm like, tap in, like jump in. I'm done. Like I'm waving the flag. Someone else please take over.
I'm dying laughing because I've been in this situation so many times. Like Allie just like all of a sudden is done. Like she's
Yeah.
having a conversation and then she just is done. And then someone else has to jump in and like resurrect the awkward situation because you really will just like stand there and be so awkward. Like
It
not
doesn't have
awkward
to be
for
awkward. It's like
you, but it's
that
awkward
person.
for everyone else.
It doesn't have to be awkward. The person you're conversating with should just pick up on, okay, this conversation is done. It was nice. We enjoyed it. It had an expiration date. Like that was the end of it. We don't need to continue this. We don't need to drag it out. Like it is what it is. I probably won't see you for another 5 years. Like let's call it what it is and just move on with our lives. Like why are we sitting here dragging this out?
Yeah, this is a great turn into what we want to speak about in today's episode, which is the importance of social cues. Because I don't know, like in what happened that in our generation that I feel like a lot of people don't have social cues, but
No.
I'm that way. Like I am so awkward. I'm not able to just exit a conversation. Like I will sit there and I'll just be like, so like how's your mom's brother? Like I just because I'm like, please, like I don't know
Why? I
what to
mean, it is so
do.
painful. Just like eject.
I
Take
don't know.
the
Like I
invitation, give the invitation or receive the invitation to just be done with it. Like there's no need to beat a dead horse or whatever that weird saying is. Like it's over.
I have a hard time giving the invitation, but like if I'm receiving it, I'm out. Like I'm like, okay, yeah, like I'll wrap it up. But like people just don't give it enough, I
I
guess.
think like the problem is like with me, I just really value like deeper conversations. Like, you know, if I want to spend time with someone, it's a one-on-one situation. We're not in a huge crowd. So like that type of situation is really draining for me just to be like around a million people having the same sort of conversation over and over again. And it's nice. Like I'm not saying I don't want to see these people or have this conversation, but at the end of the day, it's happened so many times that it's like, all right, you know, let's cut it because my energy is just so drained. And I think that like I don't know, I just you have to be able to exit that and that's okay. Like it doesn't mean it was a bad conversation, a bad situation, but it's like it's done. It is finished.
Yeah,
Quote Jesus, it is finished.
it is finished. I think I bank a lot on the people around me because, like a lot of people in my life are very talkative and personable. And so, like, in group settings where I don't want to conversate, I just kind of like pull back a little bit. And it was interesting because in Belize, one of Perry's friends, like, they were all talking and he was like, Blondie, you're so quiet. Like, you're really quiet. And I was like, I am not quiet. I just like don't have anything to give to the conversation. So I just kind of stay a little bit more reserved.
Just gonna say, I think, you know, looking back to our or going back to our episode last week where we talked about like what's the most off-brand thing for you, I think that it's actually really surprising because if you put the two of us together, you would think that you would be the one to like carry the conversation and like, you know, really be chatty. But a lot of the times it's flipped, and I'm stuck there having to like carry on the conversation that I have no interest in having because you have all of a sudden decided to go mute, and I'm like kicking you under the table.
That really is, like, such an issue of mine, like, I will just go mute, like, I
At least I am giving the invitation for us to walk away and be done. There's no invitation given with you. It's just like, "Oh, Bird is deceased all of a sudden. Bird has passed away."
when my social battery is low, I just die. I become an NPC, like, a non-playable character, I can't, like, give anything, and I just am there, like, trying to kind of rebuild my social battery, and that has happened in my, like, older age because I feel like I used to just be like, "Da, da, 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 talk, talk, talk," and now it's just kinda got to the point where, like, there's, like, a button, it gets pressed, and I'm just like, shut down," and it's hard because in my head I'm like, what are you doing? Why are you being so weird? You're being awkward. And I'm like, my body's like not responding to what my brain is telling it to do, which is like talk.
Like,
But
excuse my sister, she's just passed away and this conversation is no longer. No, but it's like I understand that not every conversation is going to be like so impactful and pivotal, and you're going to walk away like, oh my god, that was such riveting conversation. Like we really, you know, got deep. Whatever. Some conversations are just meant to be surface level, and that's fine, and that's okay, and you have to accept that. But also, like, I have a capacity for that. Like, I'm done. And then, like, the conversation has run its course. It's not going any further. It's not getting any deeper. Like, it just is what it is. And you have to be able to, like, transition. And maybe I need to learn how to make, like, a smoother transition to, like, being done. But, like, it was just pretty obvious that it was done, you know?
what are some good transitions for like when it's over? Like let's give a
It's
couple
good
of
to see you. Like, I've seen you. Goodbye.
I would say for someone who's like me, who's like more of an empath, and I just can't be like, good to see you. Bye.
That's
I
not
would
what I
say
said.
something that I could say is like, "Oh my gosh, like, I'm just so glad we got to catch up."
Yes, like that. And I'm not saying I'm just like randomly, it's good to see you. Like, I'm like, it's so great to see you. Like, I'm so glad you're doing well. Like, there's nowhere else for it to go after that. Like, it is a dead end.
You know what I really started doing is I literally will tell people like, "I'm sorry I'm being weird, I just have no social battery right now."
Should
And
we just
people
normalize that? Like, should we just
no,
normalize saying,
people respond to it really well. Like, it started in December when my anxiety was really bad. I just started being honest and being like, "I'm sorry, I'm feeling really off because my anxiety is bad." And people would be like, "Oh my god, I totally get what you're saying." But now I've just started saying like, "Hey, like, like in the middle of a conversation, like, sorry if I'm not super talkative. My social battery's drained." And people really respect that. And I think we should say that more. We should tell people how we're feeling more often.
I think that is a great idea. And I think we need to get everyone on board with it because it is true. Like, sometimes your social battery is just really fucking low and you just want to say, hey, you know what? Like, I'm done here. I'm drained.
That's a really good thing. Like, just say, "Hey, like, we're in the middle of a conversation. It's like, sorry if you can tell my energy shifted. My social battery is just on red.
That's so
I'm
weird.
on low power mode right now.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Like
And it's
my
okay
battery
if
is
people think
dead.
that you're weird, because if it's someone you're having like a service level conversation with, okay, they think you're weird. Like, okay,
You probably won't see them
next.
again for another 5 years
Yeah.
anyway,
We'll
so it
see you
doesn't
in
matter.
5 years. They can gauge if you're weird then or not, you know?
I really am like such a recluse when it comes to like going home to Oxford. Like I want to see the people I want to see, my family, and then, do the things I like to do and get out.
Yeah, I went out. I never go out in Oxford, especially now that like we're a sober family when we're home, and like I just rather be with our family, but I did go out during Christmas and I had a really lovely dinner with like four girls that I really wanted to catch up with. And then afterwards they wanted to go to City Grocery Bar, which like everyone was there. It was like 2 days before Christmas. And I literally like went in the bathroom and called dad. I was like, "Dad, will you please come get me? Please come and get me. Like I'm scared."
That's the thing. It's like these you have to decide like what you have to take things for what they are. Like go to a nice dinner, leave it on a high note, and then that's it. Like
Yeah.
have those good conversations and walk away. Catch up quickly. You're living where, you're doing what, blah blah blah, and that's it. It is finished. Like I think the awkwardness and weirdness comes when you continue to drag something out and make it into what it's not.
Mhm.
Like,
Totally.
accept the conversation for what it is. Accept that person is who they are. Like, it's not your bestie. This is not your life partner. Like, it's someone that you never see and get on with your life.
Mhm. Yeah, I think that takes us into a really good point we were talking about earlier when it comes to text you should never send. And I think we need to talk about that because it goes hand in hand with the social cues of when to leave. Like when to never send a text message.
Yeah. I think that there's some, I don't, just like with our family history and like the things that have happened, like we know never to text each other, like, call me now. Or, I'm thinking of like people that send texts like thinking about you, praying for you, how can I support you? Like, what the hell are you thinking? Like, that is so
Yeah.
alarming.
Yeah. Like when we have two family members who've recently gone to rehab and are in recovery, do not text me, I'm thinking about you or I'm praying for your
Never.
family. Because my immediate first thought is that someone has relapsed and I have to go now, like, and go home because, like, our family is a wreck. Like, I don't, and I've never liked those texts. Like, hey, girl, just thinking about you. Okay, why?
Why? Why are you thinking about me?
Why? Like,
What'd you hear?
yeah, no, in college, this is where my anxiety stems from before even, rehab and everything. In college, I dated a serial cheater. Like he was absolutely the worst. He cheated on me all the time. And girls would text me things like, "Hey girl, can I give you a call?" Or "Hey girl, like how are you doing?" And it was always followed with, "Well, I just wanted to let you know that I saw blah blah at blah blah's house." And like it has from that point on, my anxiety is through the roof. Like if you text me hey or hi, I'm gonna have a panic attack. Like I need you to send me something with a summary, like some kind of context.
No,
Because
like
hey
if dad
girl,
texted me, call me, I would just like drop down on the floor because in my mind it's like, call me, another family member is going to rehab or like shit has hit the fan yet again. I'm like, no, no, no. Like if it's a call me thing, send me at least like a couple of words about like what it's about.
yeah. I've had this conversation with boyfriends, friends, family members. I've told it to you guys too. Like if you text me something, it needs to have context. Like I need because also I'm just a really busy person and I need to know like how important this message is and if it needs to be tended to right away or like can be focused on later. So I need it to look like this. Hey bird, Allie here. Need you to give me a call about our Mother's Day plans whenever you have
Yeah.
time.
Mhm.
Thanks. Love you with a couple of emojis. But if it's hey bird, call me. I mean, what? Like our business is burning, the
But I
podcast is
am
getting
like,
canceled. What's going on?
the Comcast is getting canceled.
No, the
Um,
podcast.
oh, okay. I'm like, you have Comcast? What? Um, I am the pot calling the kettle black here because I am guilty of it. I will say it right now. I will send someone a text with no punctuation, just very to the point, call me. Like, I need you to call me. And, in a past life, I would have thought that is a perfectly acceptable text message to send someone. Like, you need them to call you, call me. But now that I've been on the opposite end of getting those like call me texts that actually are life shattering and altering, I will never again send that.
So I'm going to speak on my toxic side a little bit because I do have that. Like, I'm not a healed woman. I have toxic traits. Sometimes I do send men anxiety inducing texts on purpose. And I'm not proud of it, but people need to be on their toes sometimes. And I think it's warranted sometimes. Like there are times where it's acceptable for you to send a man, "Hey, could you give me a call when you have a sec?" Because, you know, stay on your toes. But if it's your family member or a friend or something like that, like don't do it. Like it's not good for anyone involved.
No. Yeah, Mario will hit me with a call me text every now and then, and my heart rate just like I can see my aura ring, it spikes.
Oh
Um
yeah. Like I can do it to guys, but do not do it to me. Like that's how that goes. You know.
no, like if we really wanted to fuck with each other, we would just yeah, like with our family, no, like absolutely not. Okay, so letting the conversation lie, letting things be as they are and walking away, picking up on the invitation to walk away or exit,
Oh,
not
I do want
sending
to ask you
vague.
this.
Okay,
I
what?
want to ask you this because I think this could be helpful for like the people listening and people in different phases of life. The hardest thing for me in past like dating history has been how to let people know you don't want to continue like going on dates. Like what is a text that what would that look like? Because it's hard for me when I hang out with someone and like I just don't want to follow up and do it again.
I think I would say it's been so great getting to know you. I really don't see this progressing as anything, more than friendship. Thanks and goodbye.
Yeah.
I will say though, like I really do hate when people use busyness as an excuse. And I've done it before too. So like I know it's an easy thing to fall back on, but that's what it is. It's an excuse. And if you're the thing is, like, no matter how busy you are, if you really want to do something, you'll prioritize it and make it work, whether it be a relationship or plans or, whatever.
Mhm.
So I think it's important just to like I said, call it what it is, let it be. You don't want to be see that person or you don't want to do these plans. So just be like, you know what? It's not a priority to me right now. Or, I'm prioritizing other things.
Mhm. Yeah, I'm the worst about that. I'd be like, "You're so awesome. Like you're amazing. You're so cool, but I'm just really
It
busy."
is hard
And
because you
it's
don't want to make people feel bad. Like, and even just like with the casual conversations, like you never want people to feel like you don't want to talk to them or be with them or hang out with them, whatever it is. But also, like, if it's someone that you're like going on dates with that you don't want to continue dating or like a new friend that you don't really want to continue hanging out with, you have to like be upfront and like nip it in the bud, I think. And it's hard because
imagine how
you don't wanna hurt their feelings, but then you also have to realize, like, not everyone is gonna be for everyone. Like, there is no world where you are gonna be everyone's cup of tea and vice versa, and that's okay. Like, I think that we have this, like, pressure on ourselves that we have to be everything for everybody, and that's just never gonna happen.
Mhm. Yeah, totally. I just like thinking how nice of a society it would be if we were all able just to be like, I don't really want to see you again because I don't want to be your friend. And like that not be offensive. Like that just be like, okay, yeah, you don't want to be a friend? Okay. Like
But it's just
imagine,
like
but
there's
we
so many reasons why. Like it's like you remind me of my, friend from middle school that I have major trauma about, or like trigger me in all of these ways that I can't even begin to describe to you without, taking you back into like 10 years of my therapy history. Like I don't know, like there are just so many things and it might not have anything to do with you. It's just like that person has a lot of experiences that are leading them to not want to spend time with you.
yeah. My problem is that as an extreme lover and empath, I truly will fall in love with anyone. Like not even just boys, friends, anyone. Like if I spend enough time with you, I'm going to love you. And that might kind of like unvalidate people who felt like I've loved them before because like I hate to say this, I love everyone. And so I am really, really working on that. And something that I've been doing lately, which I've found so beneficial, is I got this workbook from Amazon. If you're watching on the YouTube, this is it. It's called How to Heal an Anxious Attachment Style Quiet the Mind and Release Anxiety. It's a transformative journal prompt designed to heal your anxious attachment style. I never knew anything about attachment styles, but this past few weeks I've learned a lot about it and it makes so much sense. Do you know about attachment styles?
Not really.
So there's like a couple different attachment styles. There's anxious attachment style, avoidant, secure, a couple others. But it basically stems from your childhood and past traumatic relationships, and it shapes the attachment style that you have in your life. So with like partners and also friends, parents, and caregivers. And I have a super anxious attachment style, which stems from like a lot of codependency in childhood and also like traumatic relationships in my younger years. So it's a reason that I love people so well, like so easily. And I also have a really big issue with like letting people go. And it really hurts me. So I know that's a whole tangent, but that's something that I've been doing lately and I really love it. And it's such a good little workbook. I do like a couple pages every night and it's basically just like shadow work around attachment styles.
I want to look into that because I saw an Instagram reel that I thought I saved, but I guess I didn't. But it was like something about partners and like how there's always that part, like, if you're with someone that's always like, are you okay? Are you mad at me? Like, are you this? Are you that? Because I feel like I can kind of be that way. And it talked about like how they grew up in a family that maybe they were always like trying to manage everyone or like, manage
Mm-hmm.
the situation. And I find myself doing that. Like, if Mario has a bad day and he comes in and he's like quiet, then like my brain's like, why are you quiet? What's going on? Are you mad? Like, how can I make it better? Like, I'm always trying to manage the situation. And sometimes like there's nothing to manage. Like, you just have to like let it lie. I mean, I think that should just be like my theme for the month of May, I guess, just like letting things lie, like conversations, emotions, situations. Like, you don't have to be in control of everything and like figuring it out, and like,
Yeah.
yeah, I think that goes back to kind of my anxious, like my version of an attachment is like trying to manage everything and like kind of
Yeah.
make it.
I hate to tell you this, but that's like the number one sign that you have an anxious attachment style. Like in the beginning of the workbook, you need to get this book. There's a quiz you take and you put numbers by everything. Like, and one of the top questions is like, how often do you take on people's emotions and think it's your own like doing? And I think the score was if you had a 51 plus, it was like overactive or anxious attachment style. And I think my score was like 54. So you should look into this book.
Should we do an episode on attachment styles? Because I really do want to learn more about it. Like, I just Googled it and there are 4 different types: secure attachment style, anxious attachment style, avoidant, dismissive, and then disorganized.
Hmm. Yeah, we should get someone on here and talk about that because I think the main two that we see in our society are anxious attachment styles and avoidant. And people who, like me, have anxious attachment styles, you're very much like I will be with people in the past and they will have some crazy thing going on in their life that I have absolutely zero connection to and have no cause of and no part in. And I'm like, what's wrong? And they'll tell me about it. And then I'm like, no, but what's really wrong? And they're like, no, it's just that. Like, it's not you. And I'm like, oh, that's crazy. So I am just trying to become my best self. I want to be a secure attachment style. Like, that's my goal. And then you have the avoidants who are very much like, I'm freaked out. I can't figure this out. Like, I don't know what to do. And then, when people with like two different attachment styles come together, it usually is not great. So,
Yeah. I need to do some research into that because yeah, like Mario always says that I make everything about me. Like, if there's, and I know I do
yeah,
this,
of
like if
course I
there's,
do, Mario. Like, I am the main character of my life. Like, everything is about me.
but like, yeah, if he's having a bad day, I'm like, oh no, 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 like, yeah, I hear you had a really shitty day, but like, how am
Are
I
you mad
involved?
at me?
How does this come back to me?
Yeah, I'm like, did you like have a dream about me that started your day off on a bad note? And then like, yeah, no, it's crazy. So, anyways, I highly recommend this workbook. It is so helpful. It's just all shadow work, and I do like 5 or 6 pages a night, and I've learned so much about myself and my attachment styles. And I know this has been a tangent, but it really does circle back to like why I have issues telling people I don't want to go on another date, because I'm like, I can't be with you. Like, you see, if I hang out with you more than 3 times, we will be in love. And I can't do that right now. And I have enough love in my life. I don't need another.
Yeah, I think it all boils down to just like being authentic and telling people. And I know that word is like so overused, but just it's hard too because growing up in the South, we're actually programmed to not be authentic. Like, mom used to tell me all the time that I needed to change my facial expressions because whatever I was thinking was written all over my face. And so I had to, do work around that. And like, I think it's okay to just tell people how you're feeling. Like, if your social battery is low, just be like, you know what? My battery is low. I gotta walk away, or, I
Mhm.
don't want to continue seeing you in this capacity. Like, I don't want to date you. I don't want to be your best friend.
This is just everyone's sign to just be more aware. Be aware of your social cues. Be
And be
aware of your
aware of
texts.
yourself too. Like, not just be aware of other people, but like, if you're feeling drained, maybe don't go into a situation where you might have to get sucked into a million conversations that are going to drain you further.
Totally. Protect your peace. PTP.
PYP.
Oh,
Um,
I don't know why I said PTP.
I
A little
did,
bit.
unrelated to social cues, I did think about you this morning because I know we were talking about our teeth issues. And um, long story short, I shot myself in the eye with my water pick and it was really painful.
I told you, like, I mean, why? Why do we use those? It's like the damn things, like in chemistry class, when you got chemicals in your eye and you had to go put your eyes in the water and splash, splash, splash. I remember on the first day in chemistry in high school, I was so bad at chemistry. My chemistry teacher hated me. She hated Allie, and the hate just came down the line to me like years later. And
But
I remember on the first
it
day,
was more hate for you for sure.
totally, totally, in the first day of chemistry class, you have to like figure out what all the tools are, and you have to like go do the eye wash and actually like use it, know how to use it. And I had like a full face of makeup, like full beat. I'm sophomore year of high school. I'm trying to slay. And she's like, okay, put your eyes in there and splash the water. And I'm like, I literally can't because it's going to, like, this is my first period of the day. I can't go through the day with no makeup on my eyes. And she's like, no, just splash. I get it. It's horrible. It's a horrible feeling.
It's horrible. And if you're wondering what a water pick is, it's like a very forceful stream of water. And it literally does look like a water gun. And you spray it on your teeth, and it's like dental floss on mega steroids. Your teeth will never have felt cleaner in your life. It's like what they do at the dentist, when they spray that like hard water.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I picked it up this morning and I literally shot my eye out with it. Like, it hurt so bad. My eye was red for like 45 minutes.
Oh, I've been there. I've had a water pick to the eye. Sucks.
Speaking of things that are uncomfortable.
Well, I feel like this has been a really informative episode, a little chit chatty episode, but I think we've really touched on some important cultural pieces of information. And I, again, am sorry that this episode is a day late. Like, we couldn't yesterday. Like, actually, you couldn't yesterday. You've had travel issues.
Yeah, well, we tried to leave Oxford on Monday and then got caught in a torrential thunderstorm that was going to follow us the entire way. So we hydroplaned and then got 30 minutes outside of Oxford, turned around, came home, stayed an extra night. And yeah, it all worked out. We ended up making it home eventually yesterday. So
Yeah, but we're going to try to get this one edited quickly, quick turnaround time, and get it out to you guys so we have an episode this week and you guys are up to date, because we know you don't like it when they're out on Tuesdays, so we apologize.
And I feel like this episode has been all over the place, but I think it's pretty reflective on where we are mentally, feeling drained, feeling like a little all over the place. And
Yeah,
that's
my
okay.
brain's like, la, 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 da, da,
Yeah,
da.
same. I'm like,
Just riding the wave.
I can't even like form social words, and I'm shooting myself in the eye with a water gun. So yeah, that's where I
Yeah.
am at right now.
Well, we love you guys. Happy May 1st. It's a new month to bring in good things into your life. And I hope everyone's feeling that energy today.
Yeah, and you know what? Wherever you are, whatever mental state you're in, just let it lie. Let it be.
Let it lie. Let it lie, baby. We love you guys. We'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye.